An Asian African American woman, a daughter, a sister, a granddaughter, an aunt, a Chicagoan, a PCC and Oregon State University alumni, an award-winning author, an artist, a substitute teacher, a YouTuber, a birder, a community connector, and the CEO and founder of Masala Studios Incorporated. But for a long time, I kept parts of myself hidden. I grew up in an African American and South Asian household, moving between cultures, expectations, and American Muslim spaces, where I quickly learned it's often safer to blend in than to fully show up. At OSU, I learned how to be professional, capable, and a strong team player in my new media communications and entrepreneurship degree. But I wasn't always visible. And for many years, I treated my creativity the same way. In my family, which is, if you're Asian, you know these things, an Asian family, art and creativity is not a practical career. In my family, it wasn't seen as marketable or practical. I wasn't studying to become a doctor or surgeon or a lawyer or an engineer like my other siblings were. And it wasn't a hard science. So I kept a lot of what I was doing in school private, something I did quietly, often online, in obscure online communities that still exist to this day, and after college exams late at night. But then COVID changed everything. And like many people, I was forced to slow down and really look at my life. I listened to the voice in my heart that told me to go back to art and story. Now, with the earned wisdom from Oregon State University and from working on nonprofit projects, marketing my business, and speaking on camera for student television, I had opportunities to find me very easily. What surprised me was that it wasn't my credentials or my milestones that changed me. It wasn't my degrees from OSU. It wasn't working with Dark Horse Comics and Portland General Electric on this comic that I authored and designed characters for. It wasn't being vice chair of the AAPI and Young Professionals Council with the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, and not even being a 2022 semi-finalist for America's Next Great Author, which we filmed in New Jersey a couple years ago. No, what changed me and how storytelling changed my life was accepting myself and seeing that reflected back to me in my lifestyle and in my community. In 2023, after leaving unstable work and coming out of a long, very long period of depression, I felt the pull of art and storytelling again. Not as gig work on Fiverr or freelancing on Craigslist or applying to Facebook Marketplace ads, but as real, dignified, contracted work that paid well and did well in my community. A way to do good and do well, as Magic Johnson once said. I know we have 16, but I called all 15 libraries in Washington County one afternoon. I gave them my pitch for a whole afternoon, 2 hours. And at the end of that 2 hours, I got 3 replies. Yes, we want to work with you. Let's tell us what you got. It all came because I had this comic that I had created for Dark Horse and PGE, and I saw on the library website, on their calendar website, oh, there's a comic class for kids. And I'm thinking to myself, I made a comic with one of the big 5 publishers in the world. I could do that. Like, why can't I do that? So I contacted all 15. 3 said yes. And that was how I began teaching comics, comic collage, comic zine. It was comic zine first, this one at Hillsborough Sheep Park. Comic zine classes. in my community. And eventually I started to teach paper collage in schools, libraries, and community spaces. But as I was teaching, I saw something very clearly, that people don't want perfection. They want connection. They want engagement. They want stories and art that honor their roots, that celebrate their resilience, that empathize with their pain, and bear witness to the identities they're becoming each day. That family comic scene workshop at Hillsborough Shoot Park was a turning point for me. From not having any work at all to starting with that one class. And I want to be clear about one thing. No one saved me. I made a decision to stop hiding and changing parts of myself that weren't pleasing to others, or that I was afraid that would be misunderstood, or that I was afraid I was too big, or I was too small, or I wasn't enough. Because when people see me, they see the black side of me, but they don't see the Asian side of me, or they see the Asian side of me, they don't see the black side of me. I'm never enough. I'm a misfit. But I chose to take care of myself. I chose to look at the world as a library, as an atlas, as this adventure of like opportunity and like this amazing, like choose your own adventure. I chose to keep listening to that guiding voice in my heart that kept telling me to draw and write and to create. Because I could create something that like only I could create and I could give birth to, like only I could have done that. And so I became the change that I was looking for. I found answers to my questions by solving problems for people in my community that lived in the gaps, that were the misfits, that people normally would just feel like, whatever, like we don't care about your problems. Like I was able to find myself in these people that are all different from me, that don't look anything like me, but I solved their problems. And they'd come to my classes and they'd like cry or just explain like how I changed their life in 90 minutes. So those choices changed my identity and they changed my reality. And so over 300 college students, I work with all these companies, all these organizations, all these public-facing organizations that work with all types of different people all across our beautiful Pacific Northwest. And you know, my life isn't perfect, but unlike in 2019 when the pandemic hit, I'm not trying to escape my life anymore. I'm not running away from who I am. I walk into rooms and I accept who I am, even if nobody else does. I can be like, you know, I'm proud of myself. I stand here before you in that way. And I know I'm running out of time, but that shift is what led me to create Masala Studios and Cool Storytellers. And if you're familiar with Masala Studios, it's an Indian spice blend, a mixture of ingredients that become stronger together. And so for me, teaching multimedia storytelling, art, and creative entrepreneurship is that masala mix for me. It's a blend of my mixed identity, my interfaith identity, the kind of rooms that I walk into every day, to have people that I work with. And I'll just leave this on the screen so you kind of know more about how I package myself professionally in the community, how I'm working in spaces. And I know we're running out of time, but I just wanted to share this aspect of it. I'm not here to sell you anything. I just want you to know I exist. It's about visibility, about amplifying. It's about, you know, advocating for myself and showing up in rooms so that y'all know who I am. So think of me as your friendly neighborhood collage artist and storyteller, so you know where I am. Give me a call.